in Serbia, so that to counter France, did you notice something? Did you notice something?
What?
In the crowd
Yeah.
of France when Xi Jinping's coming to visit. Because remember, Xi Jinping visited France, Hungary, and Serbia.
Yeah.
Okay? It was almost all Chinese nationals.
Yeah.
We suspect a lot of them being incentivized to be there. Right?
Of course. And I mean, just based on experience, we can say with a certain amount of certainty that a large amount of that crowd have been incentivized to be there. They're not there because they want to. And they didn't have to bring their own flags.
No.
They just got given it to them when they're there, you know?
So France, I'm going to say, clean bill of sale.
Okay.
That's fine. France seems like they're dealing with China pretty well, right? There's some other things I won't get into with Macron, but Serbia, let's have a talk. Come here. Can you make me big?
Yeah, sure.
Serbia. We need to talk a little bit, Serbia. All right. I keep getting messages and emails from Serbians. And they're like, listen, I know that our leadership is super tight with China, but you have to understand, us Serbians, right? We don't think this way. We want democracy. We don't want to pair up with China. We want to be part of Europe, right? And I want to believe you, Serbians. And I do believe you. I believe the people that reach out.
Absolutely, yeah.
But when I look at this photo, and when I see those crowds, and I see some of these interviews, I think it goes beyond just the government, my Serbian friends. You guys are getting way too close to China here.
Yeah.
In fact, I would safely say now, if you're a Chinese dissident, I would avoid Serbia like the plague because of how close Serbia has become to China.
I agree.
The president of Serbia is such a sidekick to Xi Jinping.
Xi Jinping
The guy with the
sidekick.
weird lips.
Yeah.
Lip man.
Man, sure.
I'm alarmed at how crazy it's fallen. And now I'm seeing Hungary kind of go down the same path, right? There's some weird shit going on in Hungary with cooperation with China right now.
Yeah.
We'll cover it at some point. It's alarming.
So,
But speaking of Serbia, and by the way, I know a lot of you Serbians are absolutely not pro-CCP.
correct. Obviously,
But
not our
the
audience.
turnout looked a little worrying.
Here's a problem, though, because of the cooperation with China. Here's one of the things that's happening here, okay? Toxic dust and health crisis, the dark side of Chinese business in Serbia. I'm going to read a few excerpts from this article.
Sure.
Residents describe Radinac, I'm definitely not saying that right, near the city of Smederevo. That's very wrong, but sorry about that.
Sorry, Serbians.
They call it the Red Village due to a persistent layer of red dust that covers homes, vehicles, and playgrounds. A local citizen lamented, "There are times of the day when breathing normally is impossible," highlighting the severe impact of daily life. This distressing situation coincides with Chinese President Xi Jinping's visit to Serbia, his first since the pandemic began, and a stark contrast from the celebratory atmosphere during his 2016 trip that marked the steel mill's acquisition. Despite the economic benefits touted by both countries, with Serbia and China signing a free trade agreement and heralding a deep friendship, the environmental and health toll on Serbian communities paints a different picture. Health data from the local Smederevo Health Center indicates a startling increase in cancer rates, quadrupling between 2011 and 2019. That's not normal.
Yikes.
Okay?
This is because of a Chinese project.
Because of the
Serbia.
steel mill, yeah. While direct causation is hard to prove, many believe this rise is linked to the pollutants emitted by the steel mill. Nikolai Kristik from the NGO said, "Pollution has soared since the Chinese takeover, citing possible factors like high production rates, technological failures, and regulatory non-compliance." That is the way China operates. Regulatory non-compliance. You have environmental laws that say...
What rules?
Yeah, they're like, do not...
Rules? How come I've never heard of that before?
Exactly. And they're like, do not dump toxic sludge into the rivers. That is a regulation. Yes. China's like, we're going to do that.
We're going to do that, and we're also going to do that in Montenegro.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly.
Terrible. And okay, now here's the important part. An independent analysis conducted by this NGO and the National Environment Association in 2021 found high concentrations of arsenic, chromium, and lead in the dust, that red dust that covers everything, all recognized as highly toxic and carcinogenic. These findings underscore the severe risks to public health and the environment posed by the mill's operations. Despite these alarming revelations, local efforts to hold the responsible parties accountable have faced setbacks. A criminal complaint filed against the steel mill was dismissed due to lack of evidence, pushing advocates to consider escalating their fight to the European Court of Human Rights. The situation is emblematic of a broader pattern of Chinese investment in Serbia and the Balkans, where economic incentives often overshadow environmental and health considerations. So, long story short, Chinese company takes over the steel mill, ramps up production, pumping out pollution everywhere. People start getting cancer left, right.
State-owned, by the way.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Left and right, people are getting cancer. There's dust over everything, pollutants in the air. It's not good for everyone. They're like, hey, this factory's killing us. And they're like, where's the evidence?
Yeah.
They've
been doing this all over Southeastern Europe.
Yeah.
We've seen massive projects that have gone defunct. Montenegro, Macedonia.
Yeah. Destroyed that beautiful river.
I did that in my video. The war monuments.
Yes, they just like, there's a war
Serbia.
Monument. They just chopped it down and threw it in the bush.
For China loving Serbia so much, we've seen so much pro-Serbia propaganda in Chinese media, by the way. We forgot to include some.
Yeah.
But for how much they say that they love them, they certainly treat their country pretty poorly.
Well, I mean, look, that's just the way China operates, and most people don't realize that, especially European countries. They're used to rules being followed and regulations being followed. They invite China, and they expect that the Chinese companies and the Chinese government is going to follow rules. They don't. No. That's why China is a toxic wasteland.
Yes.
That's why it is.
That's why China looks like Nal Hutta.
Yes.
Right? If you follow Star Wars. The Hutts basically polluted their own land so much they had to leave.
Yep.
That's what this is.
And same with China.
Yeah.
They polluted their land so much they had to leave. That's why they have all these colonies in Africa and so on.
Yes, the Hutts are the Chinese government. The Chinese government, these are all government projects. This is not like a mom and pop being like, let's set up shop somewhere else. They have not caused issues.
Yeah.
The Chinese government goes, let's set up shop somewhere else and dig the earth, rape the ocean until there's absolutely nothing left, and then bring it all back to China.
That's correct. It's
at that country's expense.
Exactly. That's what's happening. And a lot of countries, it's too late. A lot of Africa has been destroyed already. But, you know, it's just one of those things. When are people going to learn? She does a U-turn.
That's absolutely insane.
It's terrifying. He misses every time. This is the safest place in the world for this rat.
Whoa! Oh, just separate.
That was actually kind of cool.
Separated.
Yeah. Let's see. Yeah.
What happened?
Yay!
That goes really far down.
What's going on here? Oh well.
When I take a breath, you fill up my lungs.